Hey, church family, thanks for joining us for today's Daily Connection video as we are kicking off this week talking about our victory over the world, over the things that exist in this world because of Jesus Christ and his victory over the world. Now, obviously, it is not our victory, it's Christ's victory, and we find that victory in him. And so today we're going to be beginning to look at 1 John, looking at chapter 5, 1 through 5, and today looking at specifically verse 1. And there's a heresy that's going on. We'll get into that in just a second. But before we do, let's go ahead and jump into verse 1 here. It says, everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ has been born of God. Everyone who loves the Father loves whoever has been born of him. Now, it's real clear here that John is making a link between Jesus and the Father. And the reason why John is trying to make that link is there was a heresy that existed in the church at the time. And that heresy was that the world was so corrupt that God could have never come to earth, right? And that's what they were saying, that there's no way Jesus was the Son of God because the world was too corrupt for God to send himself or send his Son to the earth for all of mankind. Now, you and I know, and what a great truth it is to know, that Jesus is the Son of God. And it is the very reason that the world is corrupt that God sent his Son to the earth so that you and I can be pulled out of that sin, out of that corruption, and brought into the light, into the saving knowledge of who Jesus is. And so John wants to be clear here that there's a link between the Father and Jesus, that Jesus is God. While these heresies may not exist in the church necessarily, although there are churches who believe that Jesus was just a good man, there are tons of people who believe, regardless of that there are more than one ways to heaven, more than one way to heaven. It's called Universalism. There are people who claim to be Christians who believe this. There are entire denominations that are not too far off from us who believe this, and that one area makes them very far from us, although everything else maybe looks very similar. But this idea of universalism, this idea that there are multiple ways to heaven, or that Jesus is not the Son of God, but he was a good man trying to point us to the right way to heaven. These things are pure heresy. It is only through Jesus, right, that we can have salvation. Only in Jesus. There is no other way. Everything else is a lie. And so we need to be sure that we protect ourselves from that and protect our friends and protect our families from that. We need to always approach the gospel understanding that Jesus is the Son of God, and it's only through him that we can be born again. And we must believe that truth. Our author gives us a couple of questions to look at. First one, what are some of the lies the world tells us about Jesus? What are some of the lies the world tells us about Jesus? Obviously, we've talked about one, that he's not the Son of God. There are tons of others that I have heard through the years, lies that people tell us about Jesus. It is important for you and I to know the truth about Jesus. And kind of leads us to our next question. Why is it necessary to believe in Jesus as the Son of God? I'm going to answer it for you. I would love for you to think about this on yourself and maybe add to that answer. But if Jesus is not the Son of God, then his sacrifice on the cross means nothing to you and me. And you and I are still in debt to God for our sin. Without Jesus, you and I have been living our lives along with numbers and numbers and numbers of generations since Jesus have been living our lives all wrong. We should have been sacrificing animals all along. If Jesus is not the Son of God, his death on the cross means nothing. But because Jesus is the Son of God, his death and his resurrection means everything. As we are approaching Easter, I hope that you will think about that his death and his resurrection means everything. It should be everything for you and for me. Our entire lives should be shaped by that truth, that we would live the way that he has called us to live because of all he has done for us. I hope that you'll take some time to think through those truths, that you will take some time to read scripture so that you can combat those who may come to you and say that Jesus is not the Son of God, that he's just a good man. There's so much out there historically and biblically and contextually that you and I can look at and learn to help defend the truth of who Christ is. Church family, I hope that you will do that. And as you do that, I want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.